Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is an excellent example of classic Gothic literature. In her time, it was a forward-thinking and cautionary tale of science and obsession. However, in our day and age, this story of a man creating a monster has the ability to take on new meaning in the form of the homosexual experience. Now, let me preface, I do not think Frankenstein was somehow written with this alternative in mind. As stated, it was likely about the explosion of science occurring at the time. I'm not saying that Shelley was ahead of her time and vastly tolerant. This is unlikely, especially with how the rest of the book plays out. But regardless, we will focus on the first few chapters, some of the last few. But what I'm saying is that if you squint at the story and vastly oversimplify the plot of the book, what you get is this. Villagers hate man because Sud Man, and in most film adaptations, but not the original novel, another man created life, which so happens to be the most horrific thing possible. With this hyperdistillate in mind, it's easy to see the parallels. There was once a time when it was believed that a gay couple would be entirely incapable of properly raising a child, as only a mother is capable of that, which is an interesting tangent that I actually wanted to explore for a second. Lesbian couples have, in Western culture, always been more accepted than gay couples. And I think it may stem from this idea that only a woman can take care of a child, because they always have or something. Even in Nazi Germany, homosexual women were granted far more leeway than men and persecuted much less harshly. Now, another reason, and I'm not saying this is true, but it's my personal headcanon, is that guys like the porno filmy and woman-on-woman action gets their cocks up. Back to the topic at hand. The time long before where these closed-minded ideas that two men cannot raise a child, yeah, that's right now. That's today. If you've watched our previous video on a similar topic, then you'll know that the right of homosexual partners to adopt children was, in the United States, only federally protected in 2017. And there are still people who swear that gay men cannot raise children. This can be applied to the story of Frankenstein when he, and occasionally another man, create life, and it is monstrous. Exactly what many conservative-leaning people believe. But it's kind of weird that over 200 years later, we were able to pull this new unintended meaning from the media. Even looking at our previous video exploring gay themes in Mr. Peabody and Sherman, there's nothing explicitly gay about the film, except for that fucking French bastard. And yet we, the viewers, are able to easily pull this idea out from between the lines. This goes to question, are these themes real? Or am I reading too far into the insane ravings birthed behind a shower curtain? Confirmation bias is the phenomenon where an individual or study looks only for data that supports their claim, while ignoring anything contradictory. Even myself am not free of that guilt, as I've completely ignored most of the book, as mentioned, which focuses not on the creation of life and how these people are terrible because of it, but the ramifications of obsession and ignoring the dangers of science. Essentially,
your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they didn't stop to think if they should.
It is only human to try to relate to what is around us. And those of us in the LGBT plus community, we're more likely to find it because it reminds us of ourselves a little. And so we project and confirm our bias. I can't speak for everybody because I don't know anybody else, but odds are good that anyone making these analysis videos are doing it for the love of the craft and to try to entertain and relate with others. It is this relatability that we need, and it's this relatability we find in the world around us. So, if you're entertained or related to anything in this video, do the YouTube things. But at the end of the day, we make these because we care, because we want you to enjoy something that we ourselves have made. Humans are naturally social creatures, and I hope that you too can make something of your own to share with somebody else. And then that somebody else with somebody else. And eventually, everyone will be making what makes them happy, making the world better through this outlet that we all have. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a good day. Goodbye.